Welcome to News Around, your sanctuary for the stories that linger beyond the headlines. If you value depth over gossip, please subscribe, click join to support our independent reporting, and show your appreciation with a like. Now, let us tell you a story that turned an entire public into witnesses of a private decision. When showbusiness narratives are reduced to binary endings, marriage or breakup, victory or scandal, rare are the moments that defy this simplistic ledger. A recent development in Turkey's entertainment world has done precisely that. Rather than signing away a union to the accelerant of rumor, one of its central figures chose restraint. Actress Afra Saraçoğlu's refusal to formalize a separation with Mert Ramazan Demir has recalibrated not only tabloid speculation but also public imagination about what it means to preserve intimacy amid relentless publicity. This is not the chronicle of a spectacle staged for sympathetic applause. It is not a headline-engineered twist intended to increase Instagram traction. It is instead an act that reads like a quiet manifesto, an assertion that some human histories resist being summarized into legal boxes or Instagram captions. Afra's decision, observed in a society used to fast consumptions of love and loss, operates as a reminder. Endings can be provisional, memory can be deliberate. Yet the pressures intrinsic to public life, relentless schedules, invasive lenses, and the social media imperative to narrate everything, began to fray the edges of their union. The ordinary irritations of timing mismatches and deferred conversations hardened when refracted through the public's magnifying glass. To many observers, intimacy under such conditions was bound to falter. To Afra, however, the question became about the quality of what would remain if a divorce were executed with procedural haste. Refusal, in her case, was not an obstinate clinging to a romantic fantasy. It was a principled act aimed at preserving the integrity of shared experience. The legal termination of a marriage entails the unweaving of a life's small textures, the ritualized distribution of objects and memories that had accrued between two people. In saying no to an immediate legal severance, Afra implicitly asserted that memories are not inert. They are active elements of selfhood that deserve deliberation before being consigned to the archive of what once was. Public reaction to her stance has been polarized. Condemnation from those who mistake a refusal to dissolve as denial, and admiration from those who perceive the move as moral courage. But to reduce her choice to either weakness or folly would be to miss the ethical nuance embedded in it. This is an intervention into the tempo of modern heartbreak, a suggestion that we might decelerate the rituals of dissolution and allow complexity its due time. For Met, the public milestone of career obligations continued to necessitate appearances and formal smiles. Yet observers began to detect fissures in the practiced veneer, the actor's public composure sometimes read as an armor that concealed residual tenderness. The human heart, not easily summarized, encoded ambivalence into interviews and gestures. What might have been an irreversible descent into estrangement instead displayed, slowly and unevenly, a possible recuperative arc. A seemingly ordinary production meeting later provided the scene for what many would deem an unscripted turning point. In a room filled with industry professionals and the low hum of routine conversation, Afra and Met encountered one another. There were no dramatic words, no cinematic reunion overlay, only an uneasy, heavy pause that felt pregnant with recognition. The moment, if it can be called that, functioned less as a resolution than as a reckoning, a mutual acknowledgement of what had been shared and what perhaps remained to be understood. Across social media platforms, reactions have crystallized into familiar archetypes. Admirers frame her as a defender of emotional fidelity, an emblem of loyalty in an era that favors instant gratification. Critics, conversely, suspect performative motives or an attachment to spectacle. Yet the most instructive responses are those that dwell neither in adulation nor in cynicism but in curiosity. These observers ask, what does it mean to protect memory from the rapacity of viral judgment? How might couples in the public eye steward transitions in ways that honor what was shared? At several points throughout this narrative, News Around invites you to join the conversation. Which Turkish public figures would you like us to cover next? Would you prefer in-depth profiles, exclusive interviews, or investigative pieces that map the industry pressures shaping private lives? Tell us in the comments below and consider supporting our continued work by clicking join. Your backing sustains the careful journalism that resists sensational shortcuts. It is worth noting that refusing to sign documents does not equate to reconciliation. Sometimes it serves as a deliberate pause that allows for deeper processing. Whether such a pause leads to renewed partnership, an amicable separation at a later date, or continued liminality remains to be seen. For now, the refusal itself is instructive. It complicates the assumption that separation is the inevitable endpoint when intimacy encounters stress. Observers who have followed Afra's public career point to a consistent thread, a tendency toward introspective resilience. Her public persona has long balanced a luminous professional presence with a guarded personal interiority. In that regard, the decision not to dissolve hastily aligns with an established pattern, a preference for deliberative action over performative reaction. Met, too, exemplifies a conflicting set of impulses, public ambition and private vulnerability. The interplay of these forces, catalyzed by the invasive conditions of fame, is what renders this situation both profoundly human and uniquely instructive. The entertainment world often forgets that its protagonists are living in the tension between artful presentation and the messy reality of feeling. As the weeks unfold and journalists continue to sift through speculative angles, one hopes that the human actors at the center of the story will retain the right to privacy and reflection. News coverage can illuminate, but it also has the capacity to erode. How we choose to follow such stories reflects the ethics of our attention. If you found this account thoughtful, please click like, share the video with friends who might appreciate a deeper look at celebrity culture, and write below which aspects of public life you want us to examine: love, career stress, mental health, or media responsibility. Your choices shape our reporting. In a world that often demands immediate judgment, Afra's measured refusal offers an alternative, the recognition that some decisions deserve time and contemplation. Whether this choice culminates in reconciliation or a deferred separation is secondary to what it already accomplishes: a public demonstration that personal histories are not consumable commodities to be discarded on a trending list. As journalists, our role is to narrate responsibly. As spectators, ours is to attend with empathy. Afra's choice invites a reconsideration of both duties. It encourages us to slow our scrolls, to refrain from weaponizing gossip, and to remember that compassion is a civic practice even when applied to those whose lives are on display. Thank you for watching this in-depth piece from News Around. If you value reporting that treats people's lives with nuance, subscribe to the channel, press join to support our work, and leave a thoughtful comment below. We read them all. Which Turkish celebrity should we profile next? Drop names in the comments and tell us whether you prefer investigative features or human interest portraits. Until the next story, keep questioning, keep caring, and stay with News Around.